Brian Posehn. I used to have a podcast where I played Dungeons and Dragons with a bunch of my friends. I missed it, so I decided to make a new one. It's called Brian Posehn's Nerd Poker. It's myself, a couple of my buddies, Blaine Patch, Dan Telfer, Ken Daly, an occasional guest or two, and we're going to be playing in a new setting, my dining room. Each week you'll hear my wife, my son, my dogs, and we're going to be playing in a place that I love and playing the game that I've loved half my life, Dungeons and Dragons. We've got 5th edition, and we're ready. So are you ready? Here's Brian Posehn's Nerd Poker. Hey everyone, I'm Brian Posehn.
And I'm Rhodes Posehn.
And you're listening to Brian Posehn's
Nerd Poker.
Thanks, buddy. We've got... Who do we have here tonight, buddy? Tell us who's here.
Dan Telfer.
Who else?
Ken.
Uh-huh. And?
Blaine. And the guy on the computer. What's his name?
Sam.
Why do you know my full name? Do you know my social security number? What's happening?
Yeah, it's weird how he does everything about Dan.
Very formal about Dan.
Yeah. Daniel Telfer. Last 4 numbers of your social security number, 2112, which makes you the world's most natural Rush fan.
You know about Rush, right?
Oh, yeah. You've heard Rush, right, Rhodes? Mm-hmm. 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 Do you want to go play, and then I'll read to you later?
We're going to play Dragon Times.
He pulled it up. He pulled up Rush 2112 on his iPad.
Oh, that's
good
a good
boy.
Kid. Smart kid.
I love you, dude.
I'm going to type it again.
Yeah. No, yeah. What were you gonna say about Rush, Blaine?
I was just going to say 2 in the Pharynx and 1 in the Syrinx. I have PTSD.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd Poker. We're going to go on adventures. Will you join us?
Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing you've ever said in your life.
Shut the fuck up. I'll stab you.
That made me itch.
You don't know the violence I'm capable of.
What episode?
Don't cross me.
Is this 21 or 22? 22.
22.
Acacia Avenue.
I can't drive 22. Hey, if this bus goes below 22 miles an hour, it explodes.
What happened in episode 21?
In episode 21, you guys ventured into a giant living tree. Let's see. That giant living tree's name, I think it was Morgatholl, but I got to look it up because we're dealing with a lot of
things get rough.
wood elven things now. Morgatholl, the Lost City, is this giant expanded tree ant that got hollowed out and made into a walking fortress. But the magic they performed on it not only kind of made it mindless, but it didn't stay a permanent home. So you guys have been kind of on a quest to kill the Demolith, the dark being who sort of lords over this land. You had recruited Count Barris, who was like the big underling, the big vampire underling, and you're heading to go recruit some wood elves because he suggested you'd actually
Wood
need
elves.
Wood elves. If I would an elf, I would never leave the house.
Wood elf that I could elf.
There you go. It's a flavor I was searching for. Thank you.
How much wood would I want?
Boy, oh boy.
Go.
Wood elf, could elf, should elf.
So you finally got inside of you jumped up the roots of Morgatholl's taint. He was marching.
Wasn't that
That's my favorite bar.
Count Grishnacht's band?
The roots of Morgatholl.
God, I'm so glad he got the reference. So you got up in his undercarriage and found an opening between his roots.
Up in his tinglies.
You just got up there, and
my root system.
his symbiotic sap started attacking you.
System.
Actually, Bodhi, you had a couple of near misses. You almost didn't get up through the sap sphincter.
Oh, yeah, you had some rolling problems.
You almost pulled
Sap
a...
sphincter.
You almost pulled an Amarthamon, and
Well, that'd have been terrible in there.
you fell down a couple of times, grabbed on, and then I believe Twee helped you fly up through the sap sphincter.
That's how I remember it.
We just helped you fly.
So, I didn't lose any health on that, though.
There's
did
problems in
I?
the
I don't
tweeds.
remember. I don't have anything marked down.
Well, I didn't mark down that you lost health because that's not my jarb, but
I don't think I did.
maybe we should keep track now because there might be some combat in
Well,
your
I
very near
generally
future.
do.
I say we keep track of each other's health. And then nobody's going to cheat.
I generally do. I'm guessing that I didn't because I don't have anything.
Health.
The way you said that, Ken, made it sound like bros checking out each other's like, hey, will you check me for moles on my back, bro, in the shower room? Will you check my testicles for lumps?
Bros don't do that, do they?
I sure hope not.
Bros have changed.
So you're inside Morgatholl now, and we haven't
right.
really set the scene because you're kind of attacking a spider
Morgatholl doesn't feel good.
symbiote. You lopped off a
Spider
couple of its
symbiote.
arms, but I'm going to go ahead and say that...
Why did it have to be spider symbiotes?
Well, okay. A couple of your NPC pals, I'm going to say, since they didn't take a combat round, they just went ahead and finished this thing off, because I think we need to kind of talk about the scenery a little bit. So your friends Pendith and Vorkid, the Wood Elves, they're the only Wood Elves in the encampment who had the guts to do something about Morgatholl. Everyone has sort of been living a nomadic lifestyle for a couple of generations, but these guys had gathered enough intel. They believe, they tell you after they take their long knives and dispatch the rest of this sap symbiote, that there is a nerve center for this thing. You look around, and there are very, very thick vines going up. You can see sunlight peeking through the vines, but there's trees growing inside this tree. There are.
Is it still moving?
It is. You feel the ground kind of shifting back and forth like a boat, and that may affect your ability to focus at various points. It may affect your stomach if you're here for too long. But
Sorry about the crunch, everybody.
oh, we're eating delicious peanut
The
butter
crunch
pretzels.
always gives you away.
God, the bane of the craft service table, peanut butter pretzels. Oh, heavens to Betsy.
So what's the goal on this guy?
The goal in this
Heavens
guy
to
is to do
Pretzi.
something to shut him down. The head of the Wood Elves told you they thought maybe one day you might be able to, his name's Forenmeyer, and he said you could possibly redirect him. But Pendith and Vorkid say, you know, that might have been wishful thinking. That's what a leader tells everyone. Those are the dreams that civilization were made of. You know,
How do we think we do that? That there's some sort of
There's
vines that we
yeah.
pull on or something?
They point up and they say, that's the sky. Remember the sky, because the openings between the trees will help you remember where you are and orient yourself as this thing lumbers around the woods. You look around, there's trees everywhere. It looks like there's ruins of tree houses, actually. You'd heard that there was a couple hundred wood elves living inside Morgatholl at one point. You're not sure if you'll encounter them, but you do sort of see your way around the heavy vines.
And we
So you're beyond this map. You've kind of
we're on
moved
the
back
wood
to the
now.
main map, and you're
We're on
in the middle of the woods.
So we're gonna look at stars.
we're on the Wu-Tang Forever map.
Even more than stars, just look for breaks in the sky, because in the middle of Morgatholl, they
I was
think
gonna say because we can't see the sky. Aren't
Yeah.
we in some sort of like destruction bubble?
he thinks there's like a
the
big.
the Langoliers are coming to get us.
We're in a Middle Earthen rendezvous with Rama.
Oh, when are they
We're
gonna make
in
it?
this guy, right?
With the
So,
rock.
but where is
Yeah,
he?
you're inside him, and so Pendith says, in the middle, the very center, there's something like an oaken rib cage. There's an atoll of sorts, something you might have to climb and get inside. There'll be a cave inside this sort of mountain within a mountain, this hill within a mountain. And if you can get to the center of it, there should be a nerve cluster.
Every single one of us has a cave
There should be
inside.
some of the insides you'd expect to see in a living tree ant. He kind of sheepishly admits that his predecessors did something akin to necromancy on this tree ant to keep it alive and make it expand as huge as it
would have
did,
like wooden organs, right? Like the heart would be like a grandfather clock.
There's a running theme to this game of don't fuck with nature.
Yeah, and these guys are very anti-necromancy, and he said they did everything they could not to do straight necromancy. They tried to just perform a spell that would help this tree ant live longer, and in the process, kind of ruined it. Kind of screwed it over. So
WTG.
And Shmoo said, sounds familiar.
he says by that logic, if they get to the nerve cluster and there doesn't appear to be a simple way to save this thing through prayer or some miraculous means, he recommends they put it down.
Okay.
This thing has already become a bit of an abomination, like your friend Shmoo. Some things have been done to it.
Hey.
Well, and you know, you've held tight to Shmoo. You got some behind the scenes experience points for denying them the opportunity to slit his throat.
Oh, good.
But so now, yeah, Pendith and Vorkid say, hopefully, we'll have just a little bit of navigating to do before we get to the sort of the Oaken Plateau, the rib cage, if you will. Go in a cave, find the nerve cluster, get out of here, Mission Impossible style, as quick as we can, because this thing will probably make it to our encampment soon. You know, we had to do a bit of traveling to get from our encampment to this guy, but now that we're inside, he's going to start destroying our homes. And if we really do want a fresh start, we really want to get to work.
Okay, let's get up there.
All right, so...
rolled 3 19s at once, by the way. Sorry, just a weird thing.
Whoa.
I would like everybody to pick your jaws back up and continue listening.
Gago's kind of mumbling nervously to
Gago.
himself, sticking close.
What's going on, Gago?
You knucklehead.
Also, I did a bit of chatting over the old text message with Ken. I just wanted to confirm 2 of you do speak Elvish, not just Blaine, so I won't do any weird note passing. These guys don't speak Common at all. But they, as you're kind of...
Who else speaks Elvish?
He speaks Sylvan, which I guess is a form of Elvish. So he also understands, perhaps not quite as fluently, the sort of regionalized version of Elvish. So yeah, for a while you're kind of hoping for no random encounters. So I'm going to go ahead and check. So far, so good. You get to learn a little bit about Morgatholl, and these guys tell you he is a good creature. They believe that it was a sort of immune system response that kicked all the elves out and started attacking them. It's good versus good. So he wants to remind you that it is with regret that we might have to put this thing down.
Right.
Yeah, I had that happen to a cat once.
A wayward soul.
No encounter yet. They also give you a little bit of an idea of the timeline of this place. I don't know how much you guys might remember, but you get the feeling that it's been a couple of 100 years since the Demolith took over. You've slipped in and out of time a little bit, trying to escape either through some drow caves early on or on a boat. You notice time kind of shifts when you try to leave the island in fast forward or fast rewind. But right now, you feel like it's been, a few 100 years since. And so a lot of these events are starting to line up. How long supposedly Count Amelegda was in his castle, how long Count Barris has not appeared to be a dwarf, and now how long these guys are telling you Morgatholl has been stomping around. You're like, okay, it seems like the Demolith showed up, like, say, 500 years ago, and things have been screwed up for, like, 200 years.
Okay.
So you're not sure where your life sort of falls on that timeline. You don't know if you're in the distant past, the distant future, but...
Well, how long does it feel like we've been here? We've really only been here a matter of days, right?
But you're kind of living outside of a normal timeline. And everyone keeps harping on about how the world ended off this...
But we're still sleeping every 12 hours. So.
Yeah, you're maintaining your sanity for the most part. You're not losing
We're also
your
eating right, too.
But these wood elves kind of are grateful to talk to you because they're kind of the only good aligned stuff.
Jeez, Blaine.
Yeah, Blaine just
You gotta go to a chiropractor.
Yeah. He
Yeah, I
just stood
sorry,
up and took
I
his
sat on
spine
my
out and shook
keys
it
wrong,
around.
and I really threw my coccyx out. ask me, say coccyx?
You say you're coccyx?
You take that back. I got nothing.
I got a cock 7, so.
Anyway, hey, here's a quick impression. Honey, I think we have to get some new milk.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
That's me as a married man from the 50s.
So you see,
I've made myself laugh pretty hard with that one, you guys.
Pendith and Vorkid
just
sense
off mic,
you're
that's
tiring of their history lessons, so they run ahead a little bit between the vines. You don't lose visual on them, and you don't want to either because you hear noises that sound like they could be chattering bugs or even monkeys, and you don't hear any human. Yeah, like hooting.
Monkeys, the vines. These are like
It sounds almost like those whoop whoops you
anymore.
encountered a while ago. Those,
Inside this thing?
inside this thing, there seems to be a whole ecosystem. So.
How well lit are we? Did I light a torch? I had talked about it.
You actually did light a torch when you were trying to climb up, and so you've got that, and it's definitely helping. Although the obscuring roots and vines that are kind of strewn everywhere like muscle sinew are kind of in your way more than darkness. So you're doing a lot of reaching out and using your sword as a machete to cut through stuff. And
Okay.
I feel we want to avoid burning this whole thing down.
Yeah, You're
Not
so
while you're
funny that you
inside.
mentioned that.
You're pretty sure you need your guides to find your
Ken's
way back.
played D&D with me for a long time. That was him like, hey, idiot. In case you were thinking of that, and I know you were.
Oh, that was a good idea, actually, lighting this whole thing on fire.
No, Blaine.
Well, hopefully
Ken just said
we
it's
can
not a
turn it
good
around
idea.
and use it to fight against
Yeah.
Everybody do a perception check.
the shit
please.
mother.
Shit, mother.
Well, you know, the bad guy.
15?
Great.
9.
7.
Twee, you notice that your guides are stopping and hiding between the vines.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys want to do?
Hide. Stop and hide between the vines. They're not hiding from us. I'm hiding from something ahead, it looks like, I'm guessing, right?
Yep. So everybody, if you try to conceal yourselves, I'm going to ask you to do either do a stealth roll, difficulty of 10. So if you got a stealth bonus, great. If you don't, you don't. It's in your it's next. It's your skills next to your abilities. It's near the bottom.
Yes,
I didn't make it.
Dex. I will definitely make
We gotta take another look at some character sheets now that we have access to D&D Beyond, because I'm pretty sure you in particular must have a better than 1 stealth bonus that we gotta figure out.
Well, I rolled a 14 plus 4 plus 1.
Great. What do you got?
Didn't make it. We had 4 plus 2, and that's only 6.
You're a big dude too. I probably should have given you a penalty for that one.
I'm playing a very quiet little plucking pizzicato thing. Invisible.
So around the corner, you
Where the fudge is made?
No.
No.
The lemonade. You see an elf. It runs into the sort of
Elf around the corner. Elf around the corner.
elf around the corner for me.
Around the corner.
It wheels into
We're
the
going to owe
opening
like $20,000 for that.
between the vines.
It's Carl Staley.
And Bodhi, you hope it doesn't see you, just because something about this encounter just feels so awkward. It's gonna feel gross to have it lock eyes with you, but it does.
I've been on dates like that.
Unfortunately, your big old half orcish shoulders are sticking out between the vines a little bit, and you're not concealing your awesomeness as well as you might like.
Okay.
Is the noise you make as this elf locks eyes with
That's
you,
the noise you made.
and it says, "Oh, you have to get out."
That's not a thing you want to hear from a stranger.
You have to get out, or it will find you.
What's it?
Morgatholl will find you.
We're inside Morgatholl.
It covers its eyes and says, "You have to get out." You have to get out. It'll find you.
I'm gonna pretend to get out.
What are you gonna do to pretend to get out? What do you do?
Maybe it sees with the things that live inside.
Move away. Move back towards my friends.
Okay,
or,
do another stealth roll. Difficulty 15. So you scoot a little farther back in the vines, and you're pretty sure it could see you if it took its hands off its eyes. It starts shaking its head and saying, "No, no, no, no! You have to get out! You have to get out!"
I just said this to Ken, but I think that whatever lives in here, Morgatholl can use it as it senses inside itself and see if there's anything inside.
He's covering his eyes.
Covering its eyes, giving us a chance to get out.
I'm gonna stab its face off.
Yeah?
Yes.
Go for it.
I'm gonna run at it. Yep.
It puts up no fight. That's over its AC. You slash down on this thing, and it cries out as it hits the ground and bleeds out through its neck.
And then I grab its mouth and cover it. It's
Okay.
Still crying.
Okay. And then it slowly passes away. You feel its life force exit.
Don't care.
Pendith and Vorkid walk over.
I mean, Brian doesn't care. Bodhi cares a little because
and they say, "We believe you've just extinguished one of Morgatholl's lights. He'll notice what just happened. We need to move with haste."
Okay, cool.
Why'd you tell us not to
Well,
do
why'd
that?
you tell me not to do that?
I mean, we're using the same intuition you guys did when you hid. An alarm was about to go off, and you cut the wire. Unfortunately, the wires and the alarm are the same thing for the most part here, and it'll notice that something is missing.
Okay. Well, shit. How would you have handled? How do we handle that in the future?
Well, they point at the body, and they say, if you'll notice, this elf skin has what looks like wooden bark growing over parts of its body, and
Hey, how about that?
it appears to have been partially absorbed.
Once again, I did something with haste, and yeah.
And they head off sprinting through the underbrush again.
Okay, well, I'm right behind them.
Great. So you guys make it around another corner, and almost right away you see another elf. This one is a little less cordial, and it says, "It is time to join us."
What do we do? What do these guys think we should do this?
Pendith and Vorkid have their knives drawn already, and they look like they're about to stab this thing.
Kill it.
Okay.
To see some.
They actually hang on a second. They've got their knives that they look like they're about to stab it, but that's not exact. They're a little hesitant. Based on the conversation they just had with you, they know this might be a little tricky. Pendith goes to stab it.
Do they stab it with their steely knives?
Well, Pendith is about to do it, and
Beast?
Vorkid puts a hand on his shoulder, puts his knife away, and very quickly draws an arrow, even though they're only a little bit farther away.
With a pencil and paper?
Did I say pencil, maybe?
If it draws in there, it's stupid.
Oh, God! I thought I had one of those like stop gaps in your speech pattern where you like you say, "Hey, everybody, I'm gonna go on a date with a really pretty cheeseburger," and you're like, "What?" I'm gonna go on a date with a really pretty girl. What? And you just say fucking cheeseburger? I thought I did one of those. So
a guy went on a date with
he
So do I.
Get his nose bitten.
he manages to put an arrow in this thing's face and take it out really quick. Vorkid turns to you guys and says, "The farther away we can be from these things, the better. I'm worried there might be some kind of infection."
Well, we
Going on
agree.
Yeah, I'm all about this. Get away from him.
But so
What are we doing?
get in
Keep
there
moving?
to the
Keep
nerve
moving.
center.
So,
But are we just moving?
Should we
and-
cover
and
ourselves in branches?
assassinating these guys? Just moving through, and what are we doing?
they say yes, and they say they're beginning rather grimly to doubt there really is any hope of prayer that you can save.
I must
This
say,
Morgatholl thing. They round a corner. You don't see anything, but you've made it to the sort of atoll, the sort of hilly chunk where there's a cave.
It's not the no bikini atoll.
No, that's where naked people are.
Oh, okay.
No, it's because there's no bikinis.
What happened?
You know what? If it's from where I am, it's somebody must have ate all the cupcakes. I love cupcakes.
Oh my god.
You notice as you approach this,
I do too.
this wooden hill, this giant stump in the middle of Morgatholl, you're hearing sort of more ambient noise. This sort of locust tweeting that was very randomized at first is now beginning to sound like a
what the?
a chant everywhere. No
Cicadas.
water on the phone. We all good? So yeah, it's almost beginning to sound like a pulsating alarm all around you. But the good news is this thing looks like it's easy to scale. They point upwards and they say, only a few minutes climb, and we should either be able to get to the top or find an opening of some kind. We're not sure.
All right.
So they show you there's big knots in this wood. You can get a grip and start climbing. They say,
And they don't have any idea how to reverse the spell, or do they?
They say they're versed in some basic ranger magic. They sort of know a little bit of druish magic. Like they think that they might be able to try some stuff.
All right.
But
give them a shot.
These were pretty massive spells. This was a huge deal, and it was a generation or two ago that this was done. I mean, it was
did real good.
It was I was saying before, it was about a couple hundred years ago. Yeah. So it was their grandfathers who did this to the tree ant, and it'll take a bit of experimentation.
They had all this time to figure out a way to reverse it.
So you start climbing up, and they whisper down to you guys, look for an opening yourselves. We don't know how we're going to get to the center, but there should be some kind
ask
of
Mr. Owl?
opening we can either widen or fit in as is.
I think we could lick this.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys do alternating perception dex checks with these guys. And I'm going to keep an eye on how many turns it takes, because at a certain point, some symbiotic sap or other immunization of Morgatholl may come after you. So these guys actually find something right away. So if you guys can roll a dex check difficulty of 10, you can no problem hustle up there.
Yes.
Brian's writing a script while we play.
Now I'm pulling up Bodhiisms.
Oh, no! Oh, thank goodness. What does Bodhi say as he pulls himself up to the opening in the atoll?
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll. 100% pure adrenaline.
And so, yeah, this is an atoll.
What did I roll? Did you see what I had just rolled?
No, what'd you roll?
Damn it.
You didn't even look at your own roll?
No.
You're just fucking cruising.
Roll again. So not fair.
So yeah, you
What
kind of
is this for?
slipped down a little bit. That was a 6. I saw what you did, you silly boy. I missed the first time because I was looking up what atoll meant.
And I was looking for quotes like a fucking idiot. All right.
Atoll is like a.
It's like,
I think it was an 11, but
which is what I
raised part
meant.
of
Yeah, I mean,
ground.
like, I was thinking, this is
It
kind of
works.
like in the desert when you see one of those plateaus, like rising up, like in Australia,
Yeah.
where you see like a mountain with a flat top. That's
Or
kind
the
of what's.
Painted Desert.
Yes.
Or Westworld episode.
This rises out of the core of Morgatholl and reaches up into the sky in his center. So, Bodhi, you slip a little bit.
Get
Whoops a
up
doodle. Roll a 6-sided die, and if it is a high number over 3, something heard.
Uh-oh.
You hear some clicking noises behind you. Roll another dex check and see if you can get up back into the hole before. Nope. So you don't fall, but as you climb up, you notice out of the corner of your eye there is something flying towards you out of the trees.
great.
Everybody, roll to attack. You two are with Pendith and Vorkid in the opening in the tree. You managed to pull yourselves up there, so you're able to do ranged attacks or attempt to reach out. But there's going to be a bit of a sightline difficulty depending on what kind of attack you want to do, if you're going to try to fly, etc. Bodhi, you're going to have to try to keep an arm on the side of this thing because you are about 20 feet off the ground.
Okay.
Everybody, roll for your order.
I'm going to wait to see
14.
what's going on, what this thing is before I make a move to attack because I'll lose my invisibility. 20.
I rolled a 20, Chip.
Great.
Also.
Would you guys roll off for me real quick?
Who do I?
These two. What did you roll, Ken?
14.
2. Go again, Glenn. Beat a 2. No problem.
18.
Great. So we're gonna go Twee, Bodhi, Thing, Pendith, Tom, Vorkid. This episode was brought to you by a new podcast called Mission to Zix. It's a new improvised sci-fi podcast, and it's a bunch of UCB guys. There's guests that have been cast members of SNL, Kimmy Schmidt, The Chris Gethard Show, Search Party.
We like all those things.
Yeah, you probably like all of those things too. They follow the misadventures of Ambassador Plek Decksetter and his crew as they attempt to establish diplomatic relations with the inhabitants of a distant, uncharted corner of the galaxy, a quadrant often referred to as the ass end of space. So like Richmond, Indiana or something like that. That was our engineer kicking something over. I'm sure Mission to Zix will not have anything that unprofessional. Hey, Brian.
Yeah,
Do you like federated alliances?
certainly.
Do you like galactic monarchies?
Yep.
What about when R2-D2 got shot in the taint by that restraining bolt? Did you enjoy that?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to somebody who likes getting shot by restraining bolts in the undercarriage. Well, Brian, if you like that restraining bolt to the taint, you'll love it when the droid C-53 manages to remove one from his bits so he can experience real emotions. They have a sentient starship named the Bajarian Jade that will reconcile with countless ex-husbands, maybe? Will Ambassador Decksetter figure out how the window controls work, let alone pull off a mission? The only way to find out is to subscribe now to Mission to Zix. That is ZYXX, because, hey, Brian, do you talk about Zix in casual conversation?
Fuck yeah.
Do you whip your Zix out?
All the time.
Whip it out in the podcasting player of choice. You can listen for free in Apple Podcasts or whatever the hell else you use. And support nerdery, you guys. Get into it. So, you see what looks like, Twee, a hexagon with a rhinoceros beetle on every side of it, spinning around like a disc towards Bodhi.
Fuck.
Really?
Kill
It's
it,
like-
burn it with fire, right?
Like how
Is
fast?
that what people say?
Pretty fast. It's hovering, so it doesn't look like it's gonna slam into him, but it does look like it might be trying to take some spinning bites out of him in just a second. But it's got 6 heads, it's got legs dangling off the bottom of it, and some kind of
Some kind of awful.
It's gross.
Some kind of horrible.
Like a lot of my monsters, it is gross.
Some kind of horrible.
What you gonna do, Twee? What you gonna do?
I am going to.
It's about the size of a Rottweiler.
I'm going to throw up a little cloud of daggers at it.
Go for it,
Hey,
please.
Hey, you like clouds?
It says.
How about daggers? You like those? Because if you like clouds and daggers, I have a thing for you. It's called Cloud of Daggers. Boom! Cloud of Daggers. Look at Cloud of Daggers. It's before Conjure Elemental.
I think I told you before, but I saw Cloud of Daggers open for.
I
saw
believe
a lot
it's 44.
It was great though.
Saw Cloud of Daggers open for Damon Wayans, which was a weird show.
44 slashing damage.
44 slashing damage.
If it's a third, is your spell slot third level or higher?
This is. Sorry, let me check.
How far away is this thing?
Probably not, because you're only level 5. How far away is
Cloud of
it?
Daggers
It's
is
about 5 feet away from Bodhi, and
And
it's
how far are we from Bodhi?
like 5 feet away from Bodhi.
Yeah.
It's coming at Bodhi.
So
It's
we're
not even
5
looking at you guys.
I'm just wondering what the range is of the attack.
Like 10 feet away from you, 5 feet away from Bodhi.
Really?
All right, so 44, and my invisibility is totally. Blocked.
It's gonna pop, yeah.
5, 7, 11.
Great.
Thank heaven.
You're up, Bodhi.
6 plus 5, 11.
Well, roll to attack first.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. Oh.
Yeah, that's a hit. So, are you gonna try to claim the damage you rolled before your attack?
No, I was rolling.
Or
but,
roll your damage, honey.
Okay. Then it's Lane, what is me taking my sweet ass time brought to you by?
Oh, this Take Your Sweet Ass Time is brought to you by Big 69, full release sporting goods. Oh, yeah.
Can I just say what I discovered when
Don't neglect the ball.
when we were looking at Bodhi quotes the other day, it was his reference to the ultimate that really jumped out at me. I'm really hoping you go for the ultimate, Bodhi, in all your adventures.
For sure, always. 5 plus. I wasn't raging. I had thought that I was going to, but I didn't tell you I did.
No,
so.
you did not.
So it's just 7.
Got it. Pendith volleys an arrow. For the love of God.
Oh.
Bajoink. And does 10.
That's good.
You're up, Tom.
I'm casting poison spray at it.
Oh, boy.
Wow. That's, well, it has to, here's what it has to do.
The thing about after the
Creature
poison
must
spray is
yes,
once
Constitution
bitten,
saving throw.
twice shy. Is that poison?
It made its saving throw,
son
unfortunately.
of
No,
a
it's
beast.
Great White.
Oh. I'm going to stay away from that.
Sorry about the saving throw. Vorkid is up.
Motherfucker.
He tries to volley an arrow at it and it misses. This thing
Fucking beetle
heads to Bodhi. Rolls for critical.
Oh, man.
So
Crit hit at you.
roll a
Stupid
hundy.
thing.
See what this
Stupid
little fella
beetle
does.
hexagon, octagon, beetles, hexagon, whatever it is. Yuck. I hate you, thing.
Here we go.
Well, here's the thing, man. If you want the ultimate, you've got to be willing to pay the ultimate price. It's not tragic to die doing what you love.
He says as a critical hit is rolled against him.
I like the sound of that.
I'd like to die doing what I love.
Great. So this thing rolled a 4.
Masturbating when a nuke goes off.
That means you're going to be annoyed after this, emotionally. You're going to be annoyed after this happens.
Happens all day, every day.
I'd like to die doing what I love. Losing control of my bladder and bowels in front of my loved ones at a hospital.
It bites down on your shoulder with its big old mandibles and exoskeletal jaws, does 12 points of damage.
Shit.
That's a crit for you.
Thing.
I'd like to die doing what I love. Living forever.
Twee, you're up.
Do it, Twee.
Oh.
Do it to it like Pruitt used to do it. To it.
I am going to use this. You know what? I am going to hit it with a little firebolt.
Do it. Get him.
I can never remember what firebolts do. Are they 6 or 8?
Firebolt is 1d10.
Oh, wow.
Probably goes up per levels.
Nice.
242.
So 10.
What I really like
two
about
D10s.
Google, as creepy as they can be sometimes, is I can now Google almost any keyword and it'll
3.
automatically offer up 5e with whatever I'm Googling. So
I got 3. That was a shitty roll. God damn it. What a
You
shitty
get
roll.
I hate
one more at 5th level.
I hate shitty
I
rolls.
get one more.
Bodhi, you're up.
2d10 at 5th
Yeah,
level.
he gets one more because he's at 5th level.
Get some more damage.
Oh, that's right.
Quel damage, toi?
8.
8 damage.
So 11.
Ouais.
Cool, I'm just adding up some damage. Bodhi, now you are up.
Okay. I'm gonna rage,
Do it, Bodhi.
and I'm gonna bat at this thing with my greatsword.
I bat at thee with my rage.
From the hell's hard.
Just a 9.
Yeah, that's gonna
Fail
kind of
me.
glance off of its shell, unfortunately.
Well, I get to hit it again, don't I? I'm raging.
You do. You get to give it a double swat with your sword. Well, that's
That
not
one-
going to glance
That one
off it.
connects.
That'll get past an AC
21.
50. Well, how about that damage, please? So first time you swing, it goes clang, and it goes to bite your shoulder again. The second time, your sword goes chunk.
And then 9.
Beautiful. So it goes chunk and then into the exoskeleton. It gets stuck for a second. You got to shake it off your sword, and it goes
Shake it like a Polaroid
flies off
picture.
in the woods. You
Take it off.
you guys want to help Bodhi up into the hole now? We'll call it even on the dex checks if you want
Dead
to.
yet?
Oh, it's dead. I mean, it goes
Okay,
it goes
good.
woo, like it flies like a discus off in the
perfect.
forest.
All right, yeah.
A bit of a quiet carapace laying in the grass.
Reaching out a hand to Bodhi.
Ah.
Pull him up.
You guys whittle through some narrow, winding passageways, and
Thanks, brother. That was pure adrenaline.
and you get to let's see, you get
Anytime, my friend.
You guys talking about adrenaline?
Yeah.
you feel like you're making really good time, and then right sort of before you feel like you must be at the middle of this thing, you hit basically a wall of wood.
I love his
And Pendith and Vorkid turn to you and say, all right, we got to figure something out to get through here, but we feel we're close. We're very close to the center of this thing already. We've actually gotten much luckier than we thought. The downside is we think Morgatholl is onto us, and we're going to have to do this pretty quickly.
Okay,
So
let's do it.
why don't you flip that bad boy over for me, please?
All right.
We got this hourglass in our Patreon from Rob LeDuc,
It's
and
beautiful.
Hourglass.
it's
in the
very
middle of
gothic
our
looking with
table.
dragons and blood red sand, and the 5-minute timer is now ticking down for you guys to figure out how to get through this
Can we
thing.
start carving through the wood? Choppity chop.
Yeah, what would do the most damage of my what is a halberd of them? What
You
does
don't
that
have
look
the
like?
halberd.
Oh shit.
Halberd is in bonus episodes only, unfortunately.
Damn.
Minute.
Would my gauntlets of ogre power do any damage on the wood?
Gauntlets of
Or
ogre
should I hack
power.
at it with my sword? But
You'd be much better hacking with your sword, I think.
all right, is there any area that seems like a better a good
Solid
area to
chunk of wood
start?
in front of us?
These guys are like, we're at an impasse. We could go back and try to find a fork, but going through here was pretty much a straight shot.
What do they
What was
suggest?
your question, Ken?
I forgot. Oh, what is it?
Do
Just
they
a big
think we should
solid
just
chunk
hack
of
it
wood?
through or no?
They said they're worried that'll take a long time, but if we don't think of something fast, we should get started.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ken. What did you?
Is this just a big chunk of wood in front of us? Is this a wooden wall or?
It's a wooden wall, but you don't know if there's going to be a thick core to it with sap
Right.
running through it that'll
Right.
make it resist your swords. You don't know
Right.
if it's like a dead chunk of bark, really. When you punch it, kind of testing it, it feels really hard, but
But they think this is the only way through.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
They're like, we've gotten so close.
All right, let's start
If we
hacking.
backtrack, we might be able to find another hole in the side of this thing it's probably random, this tunnel we found, but we actually found a really good tunnel, and the odds of us surviving climbing out are not great. They're like, we'll try if you want.
Okay, let's try.
Yeah, let's chop.
Climb back out or
Chop at it.
chop at it. Go for it.
19.
That's a hit. I'm going to say you only need to roll like over a 5 to really get a good hit in, but let's say you only get to roll, if you're just going to chop at this thing, 6 times, and just roll for damage each time.
What happened? What's going on?
Blaine, what the fudge?
Nothing.
Is that one of them Amber
Is he just
Alerts?
watching a baseball game?
10. On that one.
You take a big chunk out of it, and some black sap starts to drip out of it.
Black sap. So now
Roll
what?
again.
I like Black Sabbath. No. 1 I botch. Oh, no, I don't with the strength check, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. 6. That doesn't... Does it even...
I mean, you can't really botch this attack because it's not fighting back, at least not yet.
Okay. Oh, nice. 11.
Take another huge chunk out of it.
Can they alternately chop?
17.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yes, you may, but you're coming in round 3 of 6.
11.
10.
Success, give me your damage.
Good.
Got a 13 now.
6.
Give me your damage. 6.
8.
8 with your bonus. 15, that's a success.
How many more do I
6.
You each get one more.
get? Okay.
20.
Got one.
Hit.
6. Jesus. Rolling 6s every time. And 1. Wow.
I had a
Jinxed
17.
myself.
17.
Yep.
One more. That's it.
10.
So you,
Do I get what? How many more?
you're done.
Okay.
So you hear something is definitely coming down the tunnel towards you at this point.
Behind us?
Yeah. You've made serious progress. You've cut basically the length of 3 people into this wood, and the guys are like, "Oh God, we must be so close. We must be so close. There must be something we can do."
What could we do? Could we firebomb it? Could we?
They say it's
have
time.
anything
It's probably
that would
time
break?
for drastic measures. They're going to head down the tunnel and try to head off whatever's coming towards you.
Okay.
Can I sort of
Well, that'll get me a couple more hacks, right?
That's the idea. You could do that, or you could try something magic at this point.
can I,
The timer's
what
run
would you
out.
magically,
So at
what-
this point,
Shit. What
you're,
would
you're,
shoot?
you're going off the DM judging how many.
I only have fire damage, and I'm afraid to use that.
I
Can
said shoot
I,
because Rhodes is looking around the
Doesn't-
corner.
don't you have a thunderclap or something?
Yeah, but that's a 10-foot radius, and ittle hurt other people.
If they're
That's
within
what
10
thunder
feet, though,
wave.
you know.
So everybody back away.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and lob you a real obvious, just
Yeah,
because.
no, I wanted to use it, but I
I
thought
was
and also-
wondering
yeah.
about it too, but that's cool. Let's back off. So Twee and I move
10 feet
back
away.
10 or 15 feet.
Go for it.
okay, I'm casting Thunder Wave.
So you give it a big shock, and sure enough, a big split kind of forms in the vein, and you've basically you can't see if you've like gotten to an open space on the other side of the wood, but something in the middle of it has cracked like a walnut.
Okay.
Can I do a strength check on it, or
Yeah,
to try to get
absolutely.
through myself?
Yeah, I would
like try to
Try
squeeze
to
through.
pry it.
Please do a strength check, difficulty 15.
All right.
Oh,
No.
that's in the corner. Do it again.
Yeah, that would make it.
Yep. So you get it in there, and sure enough, you feel like the tip of your sword is on the other side of something, and when you jostle it back and forth.
You pry it open.
Yeah.
All right. So this is going to be.
Sorry about these fucking pretzel bites. They're so good.
They're really good, and we ate light before this episode.
Yeah, we should get rid of them though.
Yeah, because I'm eating them now, and
They're
that's
so delicious.
I have very bad impulsive behavior. Hi, Rhodes.
So what happens?
You're gonna need to do a strength check to try to pry this thing open.
Another one? Oh.
And it's gonna be because this is about like, let's say your sword is what, like 3.5, 4 feet long.
I'll say.
You feel like
You don't have one of those chode swords, do you?
you've got a solid 2 feet of wood that you're trying to split open.
That's what.
Tell me
That's
more.
what you just said.
You can do this, but it's gonna be you can take 3 rounds.
Put your
of
sword in the
attempts.
hole.
And if you use your sword, it's going to be a difficulty of 18, but you run the risk of breaking your sword.
Oh man.
If you use your gauntlets of ogre power, you don't risk breaking anything, but it's going to be a difficulty 20.
Okay.
So what are you going to do?
Strength, I would
Hands
hope.
or sword?
Try it 3 times with the gauntlet. Well, I'm going to try twice with the gauntlet.
And then save the sword, try for last?
I don't know.
All right. First time with the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Difficulty 20.
All right. But if I get a 15, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, 12. So
You farted really loud.
it shudders. It shudders in your hands.
Yep. I do it.
Boom! It cracks
Second one,
open,
You
and
also farted on that one.
you're able to haul the wood to the sides. I'm going to do a quick Pendith and Vorkid fast forward over here to see what's happening. If you guys could just talk amongst yourselves briefly.
Peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots. Wagga, 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 wagga.
Oof.
Can't believe Glenn died on Game of Thrones, huh?
Are you enjoying this season? I'm
I
enjoying
am,
this
but I'm
season.
not going to
God.
give any spoilers. But yeah, well, people are probably way done listening or watching by now. But yeah, I just caught up. I saw it 2 days late, and luckily no one ruined any spoilers for me.
Yeah, I jump on this.
That was
right
exactly
away.
what I wanted to happen. What happened though
Yeah,
to
yeah.
a certain person. But
You're not sure what happened, but you hear some.
that thing where that thing happened?
yeah, I've
When
been
it-
wanting that thing to happen since season 1.
Oh boy, what a satisfying thing.
What sounds like the crying out of a single wood elf
Oh,
down the passage.
Wood elf?
You're not sure.
Again.
what else?
I'll think of a comeback for a riff off of that wood elf bit that you're doing. At
War
some
flip.
point.
How much time do we have to kill this wood elf? Or
Yeah, where are we at? We're at 5 left.
Okay, cool. What do we hear?
The
Crying out of what sounds like one of the wood elves. Just one.
Oh, one of the guys that was on our
But
side.
you can't quite make out what was happening because
All right.
echoing down this cave has been a lot of white noise and
How do we let them
humming
know that
and-
we got through?
it's up to you.
I'll use my what the hell is this called? This new thing, thaumaturgy. They're in thaumaturgy. I can amplify my voice,
Okay.
and I'm yelling, "We're through."
And what elf we're through? Hi, Mavis.
Hey, what else is in the news?
I'm going to say you remember to do that in Sylvan.
Thaumaturgy, yes.
Someone else.
I actually learned Sylvan at the Sylvan Academy.
Ooh. Someone else made an interesting roll while you were doing that. Everybody do a perception check, difficulty of 12, please. Nope.
Where is it against? Intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Wisdom. It's wisdom.
Uh-uh.
Great. Nope. It's just as well for you, Bodhi. What about you, Tui? What did you get?
What was the what was it?
12.
Intelligence.
Get an plus something.
Yes.
Excuse you, Mavis. You guys both hear a clear voice in your head say, "I think I can help."
Oh, is it Shmoo?
You think it's Shmoo.
Hey, Bodhi, turn Shmoo around. Bring him over here.
Okay.
The new Shmoo.
What is it, War Child?
The wonderful new Shmoo.
Ooh, War Child. Roll. You guys roll perception. Roll perception. You two roll perception.
Yep.
We got 15. What do you got? Trying to beat 12s here.
Yeah.
You guys both hear Shmoo say, "I like Warchild as a nickname much better than Shmoo."
Okay.
No, he says, "Let's get inside this chamber ahead of us. I'm not sure how, but I think I might be able to help."
Okay, let's do it.
Let's
go.
And his words are sort of broken. You're not entirely sure if you're going to keep, speaking on really specific terms. He understands everything you say.
Right.
But complex ideas are going to get difficult if you ask him complex questions.
We're taking you in, Warchild.
Oh, hang on. We have a special guest who wants to say something.
Nope.
Oh, Mavis got really shy. Brian was holding the mic up to Mavis because
Just
she was
hold it
getting
up to
friendly.
me, it'll be the same sound.
The second I said that, she turned her head away as if she got stage fright. It was very cute. So you head into this chamber, and you see very plainly in the center of it, there's this big pulsing sack of sap.
Yummy.
Just sort of fluttering on the ground in a bed of wood and dirt.
Sure.
It's a very small chamber. The three of you barely fit in here. It's literally looks like it's sitting on a nest.
What do you need us to do, Warchild?
Oh yeah, you're talking to Schmidt.
Roll perception. He's trying to tell you.
Yep. No, wait.
No, that's a
6
fail.
plus
What do you got,
5.
Twee?
Yeah, it's 11.
I got it. He says, you're not sure exactly what he says, Twee, but he says something like, replace.
He's talking about Obamacare?
I'm going to flip the timer again, and
Replace.
Take the heart out and put him there. Right, Warchild?
Oh yes, I think that's what he means.
roll
Replace
your
him with-
perception. He got a really good roll on his attempt to talk to you. He says yes.
Okay.
But he also says something along the lines of special ritual.
Okay.
What's asking what the special?
We need the other elves, probably. Are the other elves coming now? That
Roll another perception.
Yes.
You don't know. No sign of the other elves. He says, "You don't need them. Try what you can."
This is like that time that that Hawkeye helped Radar give the guy a tracheotomy, or Father Mulcahy. Remember that? You didn't
All right,
know you
let's-
could give a guy a tracheotomy.
Does it require a sacrifice? I ask.
Why don't we talk about that on the next episode of Nerd Poker?
Darn it!
Yeah, but
Thanks for listening.
this was a
everybody.
very satisfying Dungeon Master episode for me. I hope you guys.
Rhodes,
Hey,
buddy.
Rhodes. Should we let Rhodes say goodbye?
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Nerd Poker. You can follow us at patreon.com/nerdpoker, and you get bonus episodes from there. And you can also send us anything at P.O. Box 16069, Encino, California 91416. Thanks for listening.